Hello.
So,
I want.
Toby, you're not very clear. Please try and be audible.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it clearer now? Hello, Ibri, can you hear me?
Yes, Toby, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Rashid, Mr. Babatunde. Thank you all so much for joining. We'll just crave your indulgence to give just 5 minutes just for others to join this training. Thank you all so much. Hello, Mr. Idris, Mr. Marcel. Thank you so much for joining this training. Like we just said about 2 minutes ago, we're just craving everyone's indulgence for 3 to 4 minutes more, just to have others join this training so that we can just start up as well. So please just craving your indulgence for 4 to 5 minutes more. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jabere Ume, and from Makada Plus, I want to welcome you to this training. Thank you for your time. I have here with me, I have Mr. Toby Obanegbe, who is going to be leading the demo and intro. And of course, as well, I have my CEO, Mr. Stephen Ovaje, who is actually the CEO of Akada Plus. So in order not to waste time, I'll just crave your indulgence. So let's get started. We have this meeting being recorded and also streamed on our YouTube page. The video will be made available to everyone who requests it. So thank you very much. Mr. Stephen, welcome, sir. So I think you're speaking on mute. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon,
Yes.
everyone. Thank you very much, Barry, for kicking us off. As Barry said, my name is Stephen Ovaje. I'm the CEO of Akada Plus. I really wanted to take a few minutes today to join you at the beginning of this training, just to thank you for making the opportunity for yourselves, right, to really get a sense of what technology is doing in schools today. We know that technology is disrupting all industries, right? And education has not been left out of it, right? And the good thing is that in the education industry, in Nigeria specifically, the education technology industry is growing significantly. So this presents an opportunity, right, for schools and teachers and parents to really get a sense of what's out there and start to take advantage of these solutions, right? And over time, what has happened is that these solutions have become more and more accessible. So you don't have to be the biggest school out there to be able to take advantage of solutions like the one you're going to learn about today, right? So that you can actually get some of those key benefits, right? And some of the benefits you see from these solutions today are around being able to even grow your school's revenue, right? Understanding how many students you have in the school at a particular time at any point in the day, right? Just being able to have that kind of data at your fingertips. How do you manage enrollment? How do you manage attendance taking and grading in a way that makes it very easy and seamless, right? And takes less of your time as a teacher, right, to do those things. As we all know, report card generation is one of the most painful, right, and arduous tasks that are out there for schools to deal with. And they, once report card period comes, everybody's blood pressure goes up, right? So the good thing again is that technology has provided an opportunity for us to make that process a lot simpler and easier for everyone. So those are some of the key things on the administrative side. There are other solutions which we probably won't cover as much today that also cover the other end of the spectrum, which is about learning, right? So how are we ensuring that learning is happening not just in the classroom, but beyond the four walls of the classroom and extending into the home environment where the student can actually have that continuous learning, right? In our country today, it's unfortunate, but we've started to see more and more disruptions, right, that could impact a child's ability to come into the classroom physically. So it's become more and more imperative now, more than ever, going forward, that of course we hope for things to be much better, but having that consistency of learning is going to be more and more critical. And there are more technology tools out there in the market space, again, at prices that are affordable, that allow you to take your school just from one where learning has to always be in person to transform into a digital school where you can actually have learning happen both in the classroom and fully outside of the classroom if needed, right? But what you're seeing more and more is actually schools just adopting what we call a hybrid system where they can learn in the classroom, but then also have an extension of that classroom where students can actually do assignments from home or actually take live classes from home or from elsewhere as well. So I won't bore you with a lot of those details. I think you've come to actually see, okay, what does this really mean in action, right? And so we're going to have Mr. Toby Obanegbe really talk to you about, again, specifically about what Akara Plus as a company has put together in terms of a platform, but then also show you so you get a sense of what it actually means to have a system like this in front of you and how it actually works, right? So as they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating, right? So you'll get a sense to experience that for yourselves. And really, at the end of the day, we don't want you to come out of this with the sense that, oh, this is just another platform that's trying to sell us on their product. Yes, we're in the business to do that, right? But what we're actually hoping you get out of this is, if nothing else, just have an appreciation for what technology is starting to do, right, in the education space, specifically in Nigeria, but it's happening all over the world, but specifically in our country, that this has now become even more accessible to, schools at all levels, not just, schools that charge, all kinds of ridiculous, high amounts of money, right, to get students in. So it doesn't matter what level of school you're in, you have access to this product. So hopefully you get that appreciation, and hopefully at the end of this all, you have more questions, and we'd love to continue to engage with you going forward. So thank you again for your time, and I'll hand it over to Toby Ogbanegbe to take it forward from here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen, and welcome once more to everyone. Please, as we progress during this training, if you have any questions, you can always drop them in the chat box. A member of the team will be there to read it and draw attention of Toby Obanegbe so that he can respond to any of your questions. At the end, you can also wait till the end of the training. If you can also write down your questions if you want to wait to the end of the training. If not, you can always drop them in the chat box, and we would, of course, read out your questions and answer appropriately. Thank you all so much. So I'll be handing over to my colleague, Mr. Toby Obanegbe, to just kick us off. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Iberi. And thank you, Mr. Stephen, for the introduction. And just before we start, I want to be sure, can you hear us? Can somebody say something? I see Mr. Idris Apiz, Mr. Rashid Badamosi, and Mr. Oriyomi. Can you please just say something so that we are sure no robot is joining? Can you hear us? Can you please say something? Hello, Mr. Oriyomi, Mr.
You can hear you, boy. It's cracking.
Okay, so let me try and adjust. Thank you for responding. All right, is it better now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So that means everybody can hear me, but I would have loved if Mr. Joshua too can say something. Mr. Joshua, Mr. Badamosi, Mr. Oriyomi, so that we know that we are together. Can you just say something? You're welcome. All right, so that we don't waste much of our time, I believe that you're probably in another meeting, just trying to listen. All right, so thank you for joining us once again. And like Mr. Steve said, we're not going to waste your time. It's going to be very brief. We'll take more questions so that we can attend to your concern as the technology stuff is concerned, especially how it can help your school. And again, from the introduction, this meeting is generally about how we can help your school, or how you can help your school to the next level, not necessarily selling a product, but somebody has to sponsor this. That's why we're coming in via Acada Plus, one. Then secondly, we just want you to understand what is out there, and we can always be available to help you make your decision as time goes on. And again, we have to come into Acada Plus again because there are several products out there, but there has to be one that we have tried and tested over time. That's why we agreed that Acada Plus to sponsor this webinar. All right, so thank you for joining us. All right, so my name is Oluwatobi, like I said, and I'll be showing on my screen again so that, like I said, we don't want to take your time. We want to dwell more on questions. So I will be showing the Acada Plus environment and how it works. So can you please confirm that you can see my screen? Can anybody see my screen?
Toby, your screen is still coming up. I can't see it here. It just says you are viewing Acada Plus solution screen, but I can't see anything yet.
Okay, so it should be up in a few minutes. All right, so like the webinar topic said, you want to see how we can manage your school from different, you want to manage your school processes from anywhere. Gone are days when you have to be in your school, when you have to be in school before you can do virtually. Not say anything like that. Okay. All right, so let's wait for it to come up. All right, so while we wait for that, so like I said, gone are the days where everything has to be done while in your school. Now you can be at home and still work from home and still do a lot from the comfort of your home. Okay, let me try and share again.
Toby, I think Mr. Babatunde has something to say. He has his hands raised.
All right, Mr. Babatunde, you can go ahead.
I think he says he can see your screen now. Okay,
so
let's go ahead.
Now?
Yes, your screen is visible
okay,
now.
I think somebody said you can see my screen now. Hey, can you please confirm that my screen is clear now? Hello? Can everybody see my screen? Mr. Rashid, I
Toby,
see your
yes.
hand.
Yes, I can see your screen. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So like I said, we'll welcome as many questions as possible. So we're going to start with your question. Mr. Joshua, I see you raised your hand first. So you can, do you have a question? You can go ahead. Hello, do you want to say something? Or are you just confirming that you can see my screen? Mr.
Toby, I think
Badamosi?
he's confirming that he can see your screen.
Okay, all right. So let's proceed then. All right, so welcome once again. This is a webinar from Acada Plus. So like I was saying, gone are the days when you have to be in your school before you can manage your school processes. In fact, nowadays you can be at home and do a lot. In fact, during the COVID period, some of the few schools that still earn money were operating from home for obvious reason. Why? Because they had technology even before the COVID period. So a lot can be done, virtually a lot. Virtually everything you want to do while in your school can be done even from home. I remember when, I've been a teacher. I'm also a teacher. I've taught in a school before, and I'm still here, of course. I remember during report card processing, it's usually a hectic period for teachers. So you have to be in your school. You have to wait for one teacher to do this. You have to be in your school. You have to close by 5 or sometimes by 6, by 7, because you want to process report card and so on. But nowadays, from the comfort of your car, while in traffic, there's so much you can do. You can process report cards on the go from home and so on and so forth. So this technology has taken a lot of stress and a lot of time that we need to be in school and do all this. And some of the processes that we'll be able to manage, and some of the processes we do in schools, you want to take attendance, you want to grade tests, you conduct tests, you want to grade tests, you want to do exam, you want to process report card, you want to do grade book, you want to do broadsheets, even transcript and so on. Everything can be processed. All right. So like I said, I'm going to be using the Acada Plus environment. All right. Okay. So on this Acada Plus system.
Hear you anymore, please?
Hello, you can't hear me?
I can hear you now. For a moment there, we lost you. I think it's
okay, sorry about that. Network. All right. So, like I said, some of the processes that we do in school include taking attendance, grade book, processing report card, you want to do broadsheet and so on. So this Acada Plus system allows you to do all this. All right, so on this system, we have the teacher account, we have the admin account, and we also have the IT account. So I'll be starting with the teacher account and show you what the teacher can do on the system. Now, to get access into this system, you need a password and an email address, a username. All right, so when you do that, so that is to secure your account. So once you log in, you come on this page. And at a glance, you have a lot of information that you can access from this landing page, the home page, once you log in. You have these gateway to the attendance, gateway to gradebook, gateway to the broadcast processing. This is where you actually get access directly into the system. And just before you do that, you can see at a glance, you can see the performance of students on the right side of the screen. You can see at a glance what's the total attendance. What is today's attendance? You can see every attendance for the week, for the month, for the term. In terms of performance, you can see failing students. Okay, who are the failing students? How many failing students do you have for this class? Who are the top performers? Who are the students in between? So a lot of information, even without you going into the system. You have the notice board that gives you information about what is going to happen in this school. You have a calendar, right, that tells you what is going to happen in this school and so on and so forth. Then you have the schedule. You have schedule events telling you events that are coming. You have upcoming events listed here. These are the upcoming events. And if you scroll down, you have students celebrating birthday today. For instance, imagine you enter a class and you begin to mention names of students that are celebrating their birthday today at a glance. And this information is pulled from the system based on the information that you have filled into the system. Same thing for teachers. At a glance who are the teachers celebrating birthday today once you log in, and you can celebrate them right away. All right, so that's just for the dashboard. Now, how do you take attendance, for instance? Like I said, this attendance, you want to take it from home, you want to take it from anywhere. But that's the essence of this webinar. We want to ensure that you can take attendance from the comfort of your car. You don't need to be in school. You know, you want to devote, let's say you have 40 minutes for a period, for instance. You don't need to take 5 minutes out of that 40 minutes to take attendance. I remember that long, big blue attendance record. You don't need that anymore. From the comfort of your phone, you can click attendance. You know, you have an idea of what student in class. Then after your 40 minutes, you can be at the comfort of your office and take attendance. Then how do you do that? And you can also do that. You click on the attendance module, which opens up to your student roster. And in less than 1 minute, you take attendance. You know, some schools take attendance for morning and afternoon session, where some only take attendance once. So once you click on the attendance module, it opens up to your class roster, where you see the list of students present in your class. You want to select the right term. So this is a term, for instance, and this is my class. So I'm accessing year 3C, for instance. All right, so that loads and gives you your student roster. All right, so this is your student roster. Now let me quickly explain what you are seeing. Now on the left side of the screen, you see the list of students present in your class. And for each day, you can take attendance. Today is Friday, August 19th, for instance. How do you take attendance? You click on this, and it brings up a window that allows you to take attendance. And what happens is that in a bid to save your time, by default, all students are marked present, as you can see, you know, because usually it's only 1 or 2 students that will be absent in a day. So let me assume that Teniola is absent. But all I need to do is to click on that radio button. And if there's any reason, just for record purpose, okay, why is Teniola not present? You can say went for visa interview, whatever and this reason is just for record purpose, for administrative use, you know, and you click on save. So in about a few seconds, you're taking attendance for the morning session, and it saves time. So you can, like I said, it allows you to focus your time on teaching the students. All right, you see that. Then you can go again, click on, now you can see a pencil icon, click on the pencil icon, and bring down the window again, just to take the afternoon attendance for the student. Okay. All right, so what you do is you change this to afternoon, and whoever is absent, let me see, let's assume that it's only Olowo, for instance, Olowo that is absent for the afternoon session. Only click on the radio button. If there's any reason, you give the reason and click on save. Now, so you notice that in less than 1 minute, you've taken attendance for morning and afternoon session. And like I said, this can be done anywhere. It can be done on your mobile phone, in your car, even at home, so that you can focus on your teaching. So when you move your mouse to over on this bubble, you see the reason why this student was absent for it. Now let me also explain some of these things. Now you see that for Wednesday and Thursday, they are blank, same as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for last week. And this is our way of telling this. This is the way by which the student tells the teacher that for these days they were public holidays, so that you cannot even take attendance for public holidays. The system take into account public holidays, you know, such that teachers will not be able to take attendance for those days, and so that it does not affect the total number of time school open and so on at the end of the term. Then another great thing about this system is that it allows you to take attendance for previous days. We always encourage teachers to take attendance every other day, but we also understand the fact that for some reasons you may not be able to take attendance for yesterday. So you can always go back to take attendance for previous days. All right, but you cannot take attendance for days to come. Now, much more than taking attendance, this system gives you an insight into what has happened so far. Now, you see this panel, this quick information panel, it gives you a lot of information that before now, you probably would want to calculate manually. So it tells you daily attendance for this week. What's the percentage attendance for this week? For documentation purposes, for instance, for academic, for administrative purposes, you know daily attendance for this week. And in details, you click on details, it tells you, it gives you in details that, okay, for this week, the attendance so far, that's based on the attendance you have taken as teacher. So this 0% means that this particular teacher did not take attendance for this week. For today, for Monday. No attendance for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So he has only taken attendance for Friday, which is today. All right. So you have this information, daily attendance for this term. So for this term, you have 20%. When you click on details, it also gives you on a weekly basis. Okay, for this week, the attendance was 87% for this week, and so on and so forth. So you have this quick information that can be used for answering. Then who are the chronic absentees? So this chronic absentees is based on the threshold that you have set for your school. So for this school, the students are termed chronic absentees when they are absent for 5 or more times. And this information is very important because whether you like it or not, attendance is directly proportional to performance. Once a student starts missing classes, then you can be sure that he may not perform very well. So you want to ask questions. Okay, you want to call Nkechi Victor. How come you've been absent for about 11 times? 11 absentees. This one, Paul Badmus, 20 absentees. And this information is also made available to admin staff, the head of school, and so on, so that they can also see and ask questions. So that in case the student needs additional help, you can render. All right. Then, in addition to that, you see, look at this, you can see the percentage in that for each student on the left, just in front of their name, you can see that this student has 23% attendance so far, and so on. So much more than taking attendance, it gives you insight into what is happening, some administrative information that you can use for documentation purposes. All right, so that is basically on attendance taking. So I don't know, do you have, if anybody asks question, I can pause, so it doesn't sound like we want.
Yes, Toby, there's a question in the chat if you'd like to read and respond.
I can see it. Say, do we need a special application or software to do this? During the COVID-19 pandemic period, I was on sabbatical leave and I taught my students with Zoom application. I am an educational technologist and we really want to know what we use in managing school from diverse locations. All right, so thank you very much. Okay, so we have this Akada Plus is actually a web app. So meaning that you may not necessarily need to download any application, at least for now, and it is very important to say that so that anybody can use it. All you need to do is to launch open a browser app on your phone, like Google Chrome, Mozilla, Edge, and so on. All right, so it's a web app. All you need to do is just open your web mobile browser. Then you have a URL. So once your school sign up, for instance, we'll create an account for your school. So all you would need to do to log in is to use our URL. Then you have a unique username and password for all teachers. All right. So that allows you to do a lot. I hope that answer your question. If it does, we cannot talk, you can respond. Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for your question. So do you have any other question?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. This platform now, if the account is activated, is it only the principal or the school admin can access it, or any other person from the school, maybe teachers or the?
Yes, as long as we create an account for you, you have access to it. So teachers can have access to it. Admin staff can have, even secretary. But we need to create an account for them so that it will not just be for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That is also very important so that somebody from somewhere will not just have access into your system. So each user will have a unique username and password that they guard jealously. All right. So thank you very much. So thank you, Mr. Rachid. I see that I answered your question like you said.
Hello.
I think Mr. Joshua has a question as well.
Yes, I have a question. I want to say, in a situation whereby we have like, for example, 200 teachers in a school, do we have account for the school and the teachers will have their own dashboard separately. So I want a clarification on that, please.
Yes, as many teachers as you have in your school would have accounts. Like I said, all they need is the username, which is their email and password. So everybody will be using the same URL, which is akada.plus, you know. But to get access into your school account, each of them would need to provide us with an email that we use to create an account for them. So we have 200 students.
Okay, yes. Now you have account for the school. Then we will now have account for the various teachers inside the account of the school, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, and that is also very important for audit trail, so that we know what is doing what. And again, if I'm the class teacher of year 3, for instance, I will only have access to my class. That's the essence of my email and password. As a class, because I want to be responsible for what is happening in my class. I can't be responsible for what is happening in another teacher's class. So I only have access, and I can only manipulate things, you know, do records on my own account. Nobody else can do that.
But as a school admin, sorry for asking too much questions.
No, that's why we are here. Go ahead, please.
Can the school admin create account for each classes and staff? So when they come, you just give them the information about their class. When they are about to move to another class, or they are transferred, or they exit the school, they will collect the account and give to the next teacher coming to that class.
Exactly. And in fact, that's one good advantage of Akada Plus. It is entirely owned by the school. So the school controls what happens. Well, so once a teacher leaves your system, for instance, if a teacher leaves your system, for instance, you can deactivate them. You don't need to delete them for record purpose. So you can, they don't have access. If you don't want them to have access again, there's a way you can deactivate the account. So the admin, the school now monitors and controls what happens in the system.
Okay.
Yes. So again, the first question is, yes, you can create account. So I'm saying we have to create account for you because, you know, we are the one doing it now. But by the time a school comes on board, for instance, we have a comprehensive training on how the system works such that they are self-sufficient. We have training, you know, we handhold you, we ensure that you know how to, so that in case you have a question, your first line of support is your school IT or whoever has been designated to hold that position. If you want to change teacher, for instance, you don't need to reach out to us. We want to ensure that, you know, the lost time in getting across to us, right across to the owner of the system is reduced. You have we train you on how to do it in case there are issues. How are you going to fix it? How do you onboard students? How do you onboard teachers and so on? All right. So any other question? Okay.
Toby, before you go on, please. Okay, sorry, Mr. Idris, because I just quickly need to make this announcement. I noticed that some people joined through a link and it's actually showing my name. So I'm thinking it was through the link that I shared on a group. So I have dropped the meeting password and of course the meeting link. So you can just take the number over here on the chat and input the password so that when you come on to show your name, because those are the names that we will put on the certificate. So I can see some names, Ebereume. I would suggest that you log out and then put in this meeting ID, which is the 5 this that, and then go ahead and put in the password. I had sent the link, but clicking on the link was what I think made them come in with that my name, probably because I was the one that sent it. So please, just log out and use the meeting ID and the meeting password to come in so that your individual names can show. Thank you very much.
Hello, boss. Some of us register before we join the link. There's a page that displayed that registered our name.
Yes, no, for you, Mr. Idris, your name is actually showing. Yes, your name is actually showing, but some people joined and the name is showing my name, so I don't have yes because of the link I sent out. So I'm just putting that there. I've added the meeting ID.
The link again.
Sorry.
I need not to join the link again as you.
No, no, no. You don't
Okay.
need to. You don't need to, Mr. Idris. I can see your name.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, thank you for the clarification. All right, so I think we should just move on. All right, okay. So thank you. All right, so in the absence of any other question, let's move to gradebook. Okay, so now one good thing about our system is that we have a lot of schools using the system. And whether we like it or not, we are in the computer age. But we are in the age where everything is going online, everything is going tech. We have the fintech, everything tech, this tech, that tech, and so on and so forth. So, recently in one of our current school, a teacher left from one school and went to a greener pasture. Let me put it that way, a bigger school. And luckily for the teacher, for the new school he's joining, they're also using our system. So that gave the teacher a very big advantage. That's one of the reasons why we deem it fit that we're going to be issuing certificates so that beyond what you want to take your school, I'm not saying, I'm just saying this so that you understand the power of technology. You understand what it means when schools hear that have this knowledge of the school management system, the learning management system, and so on and so forth. All right, let's move on. So, gradebook. Now, gradebook is talking about your notes, those notes that, immediately after your test, what do we normally do? I remember immediately after the test, what you do is, after you've marked the scores for students, you want to record it in a book. Now, you don't need that book again. With Academic Plus, in fact, like I said, you can be in traffic and record here. All you need to do is just to bring out your phone, launch a mobile app, a mobile browser, and you can record your test. So this is a repository for all your tests and exams. Do 100 tests, you record them here, and they are saved permanently here. For instance, now the question is, how do you do that? Let me quickly show us. These are some of the tests that have been recorded so far. So let's say you just conducted a test. So rather than writing under your notebook that you would normally do, just click on grade assignments. And so what's the name of the test? Let's say it could be anything, whatever you call it in your school. Let's say this is test 5. When is it coming up? It's coming up in the first half of the term. That means before midterm break. And what is total score? Okay, the total score for this test is going to be 20. Now look at it, including final. Now I want this 20 to be part of the overall 100. All right, so I check that. So what that means is that if I leave this unchecked, I will only record this on the system. It will not be captured in my report card, in the student report card at the end of the term. So this means that this is the record, this is your record book for all tests. So you can conduct 10 tests, and then at the end of the time, you only pick 4 tests to be, pulled into the report cards. All right, so I want to also, what is test for, what is score for this student? So this student is scoring 18, so scored 20, 20, scored 11, so you want to record all the tests. So because of time, let's move on. So I scroll down, so I put in their scores, scroll down and click on save. So this is the test. This is the one I just recorded. So this is how you record all the tests that you will be conducting, including exams. All right. So again, much more than recording. Yes, I know there are so many school management system, learning management system, and basically what they do, I can tell you for a fact, what they do basically, and in fact, entirely what they do is just to record. But the advantage of this Academic Plus is that it gives you opportunity to do much more than recording. You're not just recording, it's not just a repository for recording. Yes, it does that. But way beyond that, it gives you information that you want to use. Now, look at this now. In front of each of the student name, it gives you a graph that tells you the trend of the student performance. So without reading the scores, all these scores, you can look at this at a glance and see that these students has not, started very well. And at some point, there was a dip in performance. So you want to ask question, oh, Teniola, how come, what happened along the line? You started very well, you were doing very well, and along the line, there was a dip. What happened? You want to render quick assistance. So this is the essence of the graph. This one started poorly, That's Uluwole Ashade. And at some point, our performance improved. And this is what you want. This one started poorly too, and there was a gradual progression and better in performance. The same thing for something else. So this one gives you, now look at Aminu, started very well. This one undulating like you know, started very well. There was a dip, you know, went up again. There was a dip and so on. So this gives you at a glance performance of students. How are they performing? Without, you know, looking into the system. Much more than that, you have pass rate. For this class and for this subject, you have only 27 pass sheets. So in details, you can show the students. The following students have less than 65% average this season, this session. Now, this 65% is based on the threshold for your school. So you see, those with less than 65% average grade. So who are the students with the highest grade? Teniola. Who are the students with the lowest grade? Eleno, and so on. So it gives you all this information. So who are the top performers? The top performers. So Paul Badmos and Teniola are the top performers for this class, for this subject. Now, who are the students on the bubble? This is unique to Akara Plus. Students on the bubble gives you information about students in between. They're not doing poorly, they're not doing badly. They are, you know, they are all, let me say, they are at the verge of the next grade. You know, for instance, you see students scoring 58, students scoring 68, students scoring 67, and so on. Students at the verge of the next grade. And this is very important because usually we focus on students that are doing very well and those that are not doing, that are doing badly. That's usually our focus. Like I said, I'm a teacher, and that is, you know, we tend to leave students on the verge of the next grade because with a little push, imagine a student that is scoring 69, 68. They're only, you know, over time, you've conducted 2, 3, 4 tests and scoring 67, 68, and so on. But you don't know them at a glance. But this system gives you this student at a glance. And the essence of that is that you want to focus, you want to help them a bit. With a little more attention, you will see that they will cross to the next grade. And you also have students that they've crossed to the next grade, but they are just closer to the boundary line, 61, 62. That if you neglect them in the next exam, they can fall down to the previous grade. So these are students on the bubble, and we deliberately capture them so that you don't have students falling from one grade to the other every now and then. You notice that these are students, you know, in between, students close to the next grade, students just ahead of the next grade, students, you know, just before the next grade. So we capture all this information for you, in addition to recording, which we believe, you know, they are very important. All right, so and that's that about, you know, grading and so on. So I don't know, do you have any question before we move to the next thing on grading or even attendance that we'll look at so far? Any question? Hello, we can unmute or send you. Okay, I see question. Okay, yes, okay. Can you please go ahead and ask your question? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Toby, we can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
This particular part now, I think it's only for the academic part. Out of the behavioral.
I didn't get that part. Say that again.
I said
Toby,
this
he
particular
said
part
this-
that you are showing now,
Yes.
that you are explaining, it's only
Yes.
meant for the academics. That's, I mean, the cognitive aspect. What about the
Okay.
behavioral?
Oh, we are
aspect
going to
of
get into that. Yes, we are going to get into that. You know, before you have the report card, where you have, you know, scores and the behavioral, you must have, you know, conducted test exams. So that's what I was trying to show us. We'll go into all that.
Okay.
All right, in the absence of that, let's quickly go into the report card. So that's the report card part. So I click on report card and let's allow it to load. All right, so this is the report card aspect. And again, another advantage of our system is that we are not doing two work. You know, I reminded you of the fact that immediately after you test, what you want to do is to get a big note and record. Then what happened again? By the time you want to start pressing report card, you bring that report card and you start transferring record again. That's double work. In fact, triple work, because after you have done that, you also go to broadsheet. After you are done with report card pressing, you also bring your broadsheet and started recording again. That's like 3 times. But with Akada Plus, you're only doing all that once. All these scores that you entered in the gradebook, they are automatically pulled into the report card session. 1. The same score will be also automatically pulled into your broadsheet at the end of the term. It will arrange your broadsheet for you automatically based on the scores you've added into the gradebook and arrange it such that you know who student comes first and so on, just like you would want to have your broadsheet. In fact, the fourth one is transcript. For some school that would need transcript, you don't even need to start filling transcript. Imagine you are doing big notes, you are doing report card, that's 2, you are doing broadsheet, you are doing transcript. Imagine if a student leaves your school and come back after, you know, that I need a transcript, you have to manually, but with Akada Plus, it is just one input and several outputs. All right. In fact, during when I was showing you the gradebook, you also see that you can even generate Excel sheet of what you have added into the gradebook. So it's like one input and 5 outputs, and that saves a lot of time and resources. All right, having said that, let's go into the report card. This is the report card session. Now, this report card session is set for efficiency and accountability. What does that mean? You save time processing report card from non-started to in progress to submitted to approved. On this page, you can process report card of a particular student in less than 5 minutes. Now, when you start, and accountability in the sense that whatever you do, you have your admin that monitors. So the admin account, as the owner of the school, for instance, or the head of the school, monitor what from their own personal account, they can monitor what you are doing so that you know what you are doing per time. If you have, so let's say this is report card processing period. You have processed report card of 3 students, and you've processed report card of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 students, and you have only submitted 3. You cannot tell your head teacher that, teacher, I've submitted everything. No. He knows how many students you submitted from our own account. So you are responsible for what you are doing. You know, because we've had that experience several times. You know, in the school, the head teacher will ask the teacher, Mr. So, have you submitted all your report card? And he said, by the grace of God, I've done that. So when the head teacher came back and was telling, we were telling the teacher that you have only submitted 2, and you said you claim you submitted all. She was surprised because she didn't know that with Akada Plus, the admin monitors what is going on with the system. So at the particular point in time, it's real time. Once you submit, your head of teacher or whoever you have been, not everybody anyway, whoever has been selected to be your approver, see what has happened. All right. So let me open the report. So at the beginning of the term, at the beginning of the processing period, you have all your students under non-started. You know, this is a demo account. That's why we have students spread across the 4 columns for explanation purposes. All right, so let me open Teniola. So I'm ready to process Teniola report card. So I open it up, and like I said, all the score under gradebook automatically pulled into the report card so that you can save time. So gone are the days where nobody likes traffic, but with technology these days, we complain less of traffic because while in traffic, there are so many things you can do. You can be in traffic and be doing this on your phone. All right. So this is the score. The scores are pulled, like I said, and you have the class teacher comments. Okay, what comments? Teniola has done very well. Whatever the comment is, then you click to sign. So you would have uploaded your electronic signature again. Click to sign. Then this is for the editor. You don't need to do anything here. So immediately you are done, you can either save. If you click on save, you're telling the system that I'm not done. maybe there's one or two things I want to verify before I save and submit. So if you click on save, this particular report card will move from not started to in progress so that you can always come back to finish what you started. So you have a draft copy of what you started. All right. But if you click on save and submit, so the report card moves from not started to submitted. Right. So, and once you submit, the report card will be made available for your admin, for your approver, the head of school, whoever is going to approve your report card. All right. So, and once they have it, they verify what you've done, put their comment, put their signature, and they approve. Once they approve, you notice that the student report card will move from submitted to approved. Now let's see a typical approved report card. All right, so while we wait for that to open up, so for the teacher that asks about behavioral, now different school with different report card setup. For this particular school, they do not use behavioral. That's why you cannot see behavioral here. But if time permits, maybe I'm going to show you another account that has behavioral. But I'm making you understand that in addition to what you've seen, whereby you see their scores, proof from gradebook, you can also have behavioral, where you can test their motor skill, you can take their behavioral, you can take, so many other things and so on. All right. Let's do podcast. So once a report card has been approved, then the teacher can now send to parents. Now on Academic Plus, we've made life very easy. Now look at. So you see that the head teacher has appended a signature and so on. Now, once a report card has been approved, there are 3 ways by which you can send it across to parents. Number 1, you can either download it and send to them at your teacher level, or you can send directly to their email address that has been added to the system. So what that means is that you would have added parents' email address to the system, and that allows you to send the email the report card directly from this system. You don't need to go and open your Gmail. From this system, you can, so wherever they are, they can receive the report card without calling you, putting a call to you. You understand? So you can send from this system directly to their email address. Number 3 is our parent mobile app. We have what we call the parent mobile app, where parents can download from Play Store or App Store for iOS. So once they download the app, you can send this report card of their student to their mobile app. And talking about the mobile app, there's so much more they can do on the mobile app. That's parents. They can monitor what is going on with their students in your school. For instance, when you take attendance, real time, they can see attendance that is taken for their child. They can see grade. You record grade book. They can see the grade. They can see information, and so on and so forth. So just before I go deeper in the mobile app, I will pause again and ask if anybody has questions. I'm going to show you its chart and an admin account so that you can appreciate what I'm talking about. So if you have any question, again, so far, can you please ask?
Yes, and just to add to what Toby has said, Toby, thank you very much. Would just like to reiterate that Academic Plus is actually a very flexible system. Speaking on the mobile app now that Toby was talking about, saying if you want to see the attendance or you want to see any other thing, that you can see it instantaneously. It depends on the threshold that you yourself as a school has set. We have some schools that will say, oh, we don't want our parents to see this until the end of the week or until the end of the month. That flexibility is available on Academic Plus. If you also want your parents to be able to see those information real time, like immediately a test is being done and graded, they get the notification, and immediately a report card is sent, they get the notification. You as a school would also be the one to determine what you want your parents to see and when you want them to see it. Hello, Toby. Okay, while
Oh,
we wait for Toby.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have any question?
Toby, I don't think there are any. I think they
I see
may
hands raised up.
no, these hands were raised up from before, not now.
Okay.
So I think maybe the major focus should just be on the report card, the walkthrough, the workflow, how to send a report card back and all those things. I'm sure we would have questions when it comes to that aspect.
All right. So, all right, thank you very much, Iberi. So let me quickly show us, we understand the fact that everybody is prone to error. Nobody is above error. You can always make error. Now the question, let me ask a question for you. What if after submitting a report card, for instance, you notice an error, or the head of school notice an error? How do you go about that? All right, so the workflow is such that if you have submitted, now, if the report cards are still here and here, these two columns, then you are safe, because they are still with you. In fact, if you have submitted them, let's open a typical submitted. Let's open this is one of the submitted report cards. And let's see. All right, so like I said, not started means that the report card are still with you. In progress, they are still with you. You started working on them and you temporarily save them. All right. So what happens if you have submitted a report card? If you have submitted a report card, this is what happens, and you notice an error. In fact, you notice the error because you can always open any report card at any stage. Before the end of school, call your attention to it. You notice the report card. For submitted report card, you can always recall. As long as they are still in the submitted column, let me click on recall, for instance. As long as they are still in the submitted column, you can recall before your head teacher started working to approve it. Don't forget, we open Digi MacBook there. And let's see what happens. So you click on record, and you'll notice that the report card is pulled back into in progress. Let's see. Now notice that there were 3 here before. Now you have 2, and this is the MacBook there. Because it is at this point that you can edit and change any error that you encounter. All right. So that is one. Now, what happened? What if your teacher has approved and it has moved here? If the report card has been approved, then all you have to do is to inform the teacher, because at this point, it has gone beyond what you did originally. We believe that at this point, the teacher has proofread the corrected error and so on and so on. So they've added their comment. So you cannot just pull back. So you have to inform them. Then they, from their account, from their account can now return for revision. So they have to log in to their own account, see what you've done. Then they can now return the report card for revision. Let me just go through here so that you don't lose time. So this is a typical admin account. You see that there are more modules here. So click on report card. This is the broadsheet I talk about. And so I'm going to filter to the session where the report cards are domiciled. So with our system, you have, for those that have been with us for years, they have their record intact. That's why you have a lot of records here. So if you want to access report card from 2 years back, for instance, without letting us know, you can always go on your system from the admin account. You can always access report card from previous accounts. All right, so this is the particular one we're working on. That's the teacher's name. So like I was trying to explain. So once you submit, you have them here. So the teacher, your head of school knows how many students have submitted. Now, this, let's go to completed. So what that means is that these are the report card that has been submitted. They are under pending review. If at the head of school, I also save so that I can always come back to it, it moves here. But if I approve, immediately I approve report cards, in the teacher account, it moves to the approval column. And in my own account, as the head of school, it moves here. So we are talking about how do we return. Right? So what we do is, so let me open Feladro to it, for instance, and return. Don't forget, we are returning Feladro to it so that you see, you go back to the account and see. All right, okay. So this is Feladro to report card. I've approved them, but we noticed an error even after approving. What I'll do is I scroll down and click on return for revision. So I'm going to return to the teacher. Okay, so what happened? Maybe I say, yeah, no. So I'm giving the reason so that the teacher already know what to work on. There are no score for mathematics, whatever the reason. I click on. So I'm sending it back to the teacher. So the teacher can now have access to it from his or our own account. So let me go back to the teacher account and refresh. So you notice that Feladro 2 will be dropped here now. Can you see Feladro 2? Where's Feladro 2? Feladro 2 here. So at this point, I now have access to it to make any changes that is required. So any other question? All right, while you think of your question, now I also want to show you, you remember I mentioned the fact that different ways by which you can send report card. Number one, I said you can download them. So any report card that has been approved, you can download and print. This is the download button. You can email from our system directly to student parent email addresses, or you can publish. So once you click on publish, the report card will be made available on the parent mobile app. And one good thing about this email of the thing is that you can email the report card of the entire school at the click of a button. That's a lot. I can assure you that that's a lot that so many of our other systems do not have. In fact, I know a school that it takes them, they use a system like this, but it takes them weeks before they can send report card. The entire report card, because it is a large school, it takes them weeks before they can send the entire report card to parents. But this is tested and trusted. With a click of a button, all the parents in this school, if you have 1,000 parents, click on it and all the approved report cards will be sent directly to their email address. So that's one. Another way is for completed approved report cards. You can send per class. For some reason you may not want to send, maybe because some classes are still owing school fees, or for some other reasons. This is for year 3. You can decide if you had for other classes, you can individually send per class. Okay, I only want to email. So you can, with the click of this button, you can email directly to student email, primary email, which could be for the father, second email for the mother. So you can email to 3 emails directly for all the students in that class. you know. So again, for some reason, you may say, oh, I don't, in this particular class, Aminu is owing me. He's owing school, so I don't want to send per class. I want to send only for student by student. So you open that particular student. I only want to send for this student. I don't want to send for other students. You open for that particular student, and you see. So once you publish, so you have to publish, of course. You click on publish. So once you publish, it is available on the parent mobile app, and in addition to that, then you will now be able to email to the parent. So in this case, you are emailing per student. All right. So any other question? We're going to round off pretty soon. There's so much more you can do, but because you don't want to take much of our time, so you can see. Can you see the email button? So you click on this email button, you email this particular one to. So you have any
Sorry,
question?
please excuse me. I have
Yeah, go ahead,
a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, now please, if we start using the website and all that to do the grading of the student attendance and report sheets, will there be also like a personal training for the school?
Yes. Yeah, it's part of the package. Yes, in fact, it's part of the
Okay.
package. Once you can you hear me? Thank you for your question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so it's
So
part of the training.
you-
It's part of the package.
Yeah, to train the
So once you come
teachers
on
and
board at this
also okay.
We train everyone until they can use it on their own. In fact, much more than training, we are always available for any support work. Academy is always available for any support work. But we also always ensure that we organize teacher training, we organize admin training separately. Then, if you have anybody in charge of IT, we also set up an IT account and training for the IT staff, such that
Okay.
if a teacher comes in, you can always go back to the IT staff and say, okay, this is what, and he or she knows what to do. Because what the teacher can do is different from what the admin can do, and it's different from what the IT that will set up the system. So we'll train everything. Yes.
Okay, thank you very
much.
Yes, and sorry, just to add to what Toby has said. So because Acada Plus is a forward-thinking company, we actually have a 5-year pipeline of things that we are implementing as they come on. And for schools that are currently our partner schools, all those updates, all those features, it comes at no extra costs to those schools. So the thing is, even if you come on board and for the life of Acada Plus this next 5 years, we do any updates, you get those updates free, and then we will still even come and train you on any of those updates. So any new updates coming up, there's always going to be a training so that you can also use the new updates and the new features which we've added.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim. So, do you have any other question? All right, so Mr. Igwedi, Mr. Afiz, Mr. Akuna, Mr. Baramosi. Okay. Yes, Miss. Oh, sorry, Mrs. or Miss. Sorry. So, do you have any question?
Okay. No, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so just as we round up, let me quickly show you this. Now, this feature is also very powerful. That's the announcement feature. It allows you to send announcements from this account. Thank you, Mr. Rashid. All right, so we have this announcement feature that can, and I make bold to say that can replace your bulk SMS. I'm very sure virtually everyone on this call have used bulk SMS platform, one time or the other. And I can confirm to you for free that you hardly get 50% delivery rate for all these bulk SMS platforms. I've not seen any bulk SMS platform that will give you 100% delivery. In fact, for some, they will deduct your credits and your recipient will not get anything. And this can replace it. You can create parents on this platform and send SMS to them. You can create an announcement, allows you to create an announcement, for instance, and decide who you want to send. You want to send to all staff, all parents, all teacher, system admin, everyone. In fact, it allows you to send to per class. Okay, this message, I want only nursery 2 parent to receive it. I only want parents in nursery 1, and so on. And in addition to that, it allows you to attach. You can attach files. For some of your bulk SMS, for some of the bulk SMS platform available, you cannot attach files. So you get this opportunity to send announcement, as many times as possible. All right. Then another thing is the directory. So the directory is a repository of everyone in your school, the student and the staff. So once a new student yes, comes into your system for admission purposes, this is where you get to register them, just so that you can go home and the student can enter a class. You had a student with this original information. So for a student to move into a particular class and start attending lectures, all you need is their first name. Let's say Shola Olu, that's the last name. Let's say male. Date of birth, whatever date of birth is. So what class? This student is coming into GSS1, for instance. What's the email, which is not compulsory. So with this first set of information, this 5 information, these students can be added to this school. And if this student has an email address or a phone number, you can also add it. All right. So with this, you don't need to wait until other information are added. Now, what that means is that there are other information can be added. So I can click on this student, for instance, after adding the initial set of information, I can now click on the name while the student is allowed to go into his or her class. I can click on the name of the student, add the picture or the portrait of the student. I can add other information, the middle name, so many other information, the school enrollment, what's the admission number. I can add the admission number. I can add the house. I can add the enrollment date, so many other things, demographics, that's birth month, and so many other information. Permanent address. I can add contacts. So in case of emergency, who can we contact? I can add their information. What about medical record? I can add primary. You can add primary emergency contact, which could be the father or the mother. Secondary emergency, it could be the father or the mother. Then alternative, maybe a guardian. I can. What's the medical record? Just for record purpose and documentation purpose. I can add medical record and so on. So it's actually a robust system for your school. So we are rounding up very soon. The same thing for staff. We also have staff information.
Hello,
Dr.
can
Yusuf,
everyone hear me now? I think Toby logged off, has a network issue. I'm sure he'll be joining back in the next 2 or 3 minutes. But in the meantime, I'd like to actually still thank everyone for this and ask if we have any questions. We can just put down the questions. And of course, something that we said for this training, we had gone ahead and said, okay, we'll give the certificate, obviously, but we would also, for schools that would want us to come and do a free demo at their schools, we would also use this opportunity to come to just show up at the school based on the timeline that you give us. Usually we would like to use this holiday period to come and do an in-house training with the teachers, show you much more than this, because this is a training. We cannot go so much in depth into all the features of Acada Plus. But of course, if you indicate your interest, we as a team would obviously come to your school at no cost, at no extra cost to the school, come to your school and do a free demo of the system and go more in depth, show you in details the features of Acada Plus and how it can help. You know, now we are in a hybrid form of education. I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think that the education system now could just be just physical classroom. Now we have to infuse it with learning online, you know, your CBT exams and all those, just a hybrid method of education, of learning. So we are available, we are open for a free demo at your school at any point and in time that you would want us to come. You just indicate interest. You can send a message to me directly, or you can just put it in the chat. I also have another of my colleague here. Her name is Aminat. You can also send a message to her as well. So any one of us would receive your message, and of course we would be on hand to call you later on after this training and just try to set up meeting for a time to do that demo and possibly a training at your school. So usually we would ask that we do it during this holiday period so that teachers can even get their hands on the system, try to use it before the new session begins in September. Toby, I don't know if you're back on this.
Sorry, please excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
So how are we going to who are we going to contact if you know we're interested and want to get to know you guys?
Okay, so if you're interested, you can just send me a message privately. My name is Ebere Ume. I'm Ebere Ume. You can just send me a message, just your contact number, the name of your school, your address, and of course, I'll give you a call after this. I'll give you a call after this training, and then we can talk on how to arrange the demo to your school.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hello, Toby. Are you back on now?
I am raising my hand. I have a question to ask or two.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Ebere and Toby.
You're welcome.
I actually enjoyed it. Please, I want you to recap. How much does it cost to have you, the system? How much does it cost? How much would you charge a school that has up to 100 learners to have your
For 100 learners, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, usually we always like to, the first thing we like to do is we usually want to take our time and come to your school so you can see the benefits of the whole thing before we talk on the pricing. Because if I give you the pricing now, you might feel like, oh, maybe one or two things. So we always, if anybody asks us for the pricing, we usually first of all suggest to them, okay, let's come show you, because what we are showing you now is just the SMS, which is the school management system. We haven't even shown the LMS, but I know obviously we can't do that now because we don't want to take so much time for everybody. We have a learning management system as well. So for situations like this, when we are asked for pricing, we usually try to get to the school first, do a complete and in-depth demo where we can show the complete benefits of Acada Plus. Then we can have a discussion on pricing. But I can tell you it is very, very affordable, and we even have a discount based on the number of children you have, so the number of students you have. So Acada Plus is very, very affordable.
The Bible tells me like whatever you want to embark on, you soon.
Sorry, Ma?
I mean, my Bible says you should cost whatever you want to embark on, whether you come, whether before or after. I should know how I will be expecting to pay. It wouldn't stop me from asking you to come and demonstrate. So it is obviously important for me to know. Give me a clue. Just a clue. Just a clue.
Okay, so I'll just say we charge per child per term. Do you understand? And we also do per session. It just depends on what your school wants. Okay, so are we talking of just the LMS, sorry, of just the school management system, or the school management system and the learning management system? Because we have different prices for them. We have some people that will tell you, I just want the mobile app. Some people will say, oh, I want the LMS so that my school can do CBT. And some will tell you, I want only the SMS. So that's why I said, usually we come and do the demo, and then you tell us what you want, and then we work with the pricing for that.
Mr. Prince, yes, you have
Yes, ma'am.
obtained your stand. No problem.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem. You can still come to my school for demonstration.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Please, as well, you
Toby.
can dictate.
Oh,
Hello.
hello, Mr. Joshua, sir.
As well, you can dictate your mobile number that in case there's
Yes,
require.
I would drop it in the chat right now, sir. I would drop it in the chat right now so we can have that conversation.
Then is the system mobile friendly?
Yes, it is. You can actually use any of your mobile device as long as it's connected to the internet. You can use your laptop, your mobile phone, your iPad, anything. And our parents' mobile app is available on iOS and Play Store as well. So yes.
And lastly, like what the other woman said, there's supposed to be a clue. So if somebody is coming in, they will look into it and see how they can also uh, talk about the stuff to their management and all this. But if we don't have any idea of the price range, I'm telling you, there are people who will be thinking if we invite them and that we could not avoid the money, it will just look as a waste of time. But at least, like cost range, the implication, okay, from this also to this also, like this, and like you have said, that is depends on the number of the pupils, but at least somebody will have an idea. As we have spent the time listening to lecture this week, somebody will have an idea of the cost implication, even if it's not the accurate price, yet we have an idea.
Okay, sir. So what I can do is, because we know that each school is actually different. You have some schools that are 100, you have some that are more than, you have some that are less than, and like I said, we have a discount for schools that have a large number of students. What I can do is, for people who are interested in wanting the pricing, I can send a different comprehensive price list to you so that you can then choose what aspect you would like to go for.
Wow, that was good. Thank you.
Toby, are
It's
you
okay.
back on, please? All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please go ahead, Toby. We
Hello,
can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. Because I had to change power source. So, any other question? Do you have any? I think there are still some hands raised up.
No, 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 no. Those were from before. We're just I've actually put a number out there for those who want us to come and do a free demo. The questions that we got was just based on pricing. So
Okay. All right. So, in the absence of another question, I think we are done from here. So, we can, I think we have the names of those attending, then we'll get back to them, right?
Yes, please. And then the certificates will also be sent via emails. I have the numbers. I have your names here. I've also put in my number in the chat, so I don't mind if you can just reach out to me at any time. I'll be able to forward the individual certificates to everybody. So I'll just give some time for everyone to get the number on the chat so that we can um, have
And
you
again, hello,
contact me
but
for
again, can you,
your certificates so that I would not send them to um, another email address.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Toby.
Okay, so for those that, in case there are some other teachers or other participants that were supposed to join this call but they were not available, you can also request for the recordings of. We have it live on YouTube, so we can always send it so that for those in case it also helps you when you want to talk to maybe the school head and so on. They can also watch it, or if there's another teacher or any other person, you can always share it with them so that they can see and also make their decision. You can request for the recordings of the session.
Yes, thank you very much, Toby, for that. Yes, you can also, yes, that's very true. Thank you so much, Toby, for that.
All right, so in absence of any other. Okay, but I see an email address sent already.
Yes, I've been able to pick Mr. Rush.
All right. So, Ebere, you want to conclude so that I can move on?
Yeah, so I'd like to thank everyone for taking our time. I know it's not easy for us taking our time out of our busy schedule to join this training. First off, would like to say a big thank you to everyone who um, took out time to join this training. Thank you all so much. May God bless you. And like we said, I would be expecting the emails, or I'll be expecting calls from some of you so that we'll be able to send the certificate to the right email addresses. And for all those who sent me a private message saying they would want us to come for a free demo in their school, that's not a problem. And people who also want the price list, I can also forward it to your email as well. Thank you all so much. If you would like the recording of this training, please reach out to me via the number like I posted in the chat, and of course the recording will be made available to you, where you can also share with some of your teachers who were not able to join this training. So thank you, Toby, for being a very gracious host. Thank you, Aminat, for joining. And in the absence of nothing else, I bring this training to a close. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.